Hey, welcome back to the shop. This is Zach over at NV Woodwerks. Time for another weekly update. So, unfortunately, last week I didn't get the carbide tools video edited. I got slammed with a bunch of orders and I just couldn't find time to get that thing edited. So I'm hoping to get that thing up next week. Couple announcements this week. Just another reminder, the Summer's Woodworking 2x4 Challenge is coming up in May. So definitely head on over. I'll put a link up here and I'll have a link down in the show notes to Summer's Woodworking, the YouTube channel. Brian has been doing this challenge for, I think this is the third annual 2x4 challenge that he's put on. So definitely check that out. There's always really good projects that people make, lots of entries, and there's lots of prizes too. So I am sponsoring that. I got a couple pen blanks that I'm going to throw in with some pen kits. So that's my little donation. So check that out. The other thing, big news, I got to be on the Modern Woodworkers Association podcast last week, and that was a blast. I had a really good time talking to Diami and Tom. If you don't subscribe to that podcast, it's an audio podcast. I believe it's on YouTube, and there's a couple other places that you can get it. I just listen to it in iTunes, but I got to be on it this time. It was really fun. So check out the interview. I actually don't think that I did that bad, and Diami did some really good editing, so made me sound a lot better. But it was fun. I've never done a podcast like that. I've never done like a radio show, or frankly, I don't think I've ever done like an interview type of scenario before. But it was really more just three guys sitting down kind of talking. I got to blab on about casting and what I'm doing and all that kind of stuff. So it was really fun. So go check that out. I'll definitely have a link to that wherever you can get that. Again, I know it's on iTunes and other podcatcher type things. And I believe that there's a YouTube channel with the audio on there. So check that out. All right, so this week, again, I've been pretty busy from last week, and I was wrapping up stuff from last week, the orders that I had. But I also did get some casting time in the shop, so I did a few more pine cone blanks. I got one with blue and gold. I'm really excited to see this thing turned. I got blanks ready to go. Just need to trim them up and then throw them on the lathe. And I also wanted to get some green, that green from the Jamaican flag, the Jamaican Me Crazy blanks. I really like that green apple Pearlex powder, so I wanted to make some of those. I had a little bit of an accident, or not an accident I guess, but I had a oopsie on that pour. I put the casting mold, I wanted a big one. I knew that I wanted lots of these green ones, so I used the big mold that I have to put in the horizontal pot. Well, I put it in there the wrong way. I forgot that I put it in, you need to put it in sideways. I put it in long ways, and the lid pushed it up, and I had a slanted pour that leaked out over the thing. So that was a little bit of a oopsie, but I tried to kind of fix it. So I just decided to pour some more Alumilite on top of it. The problem was I had to wait over a day before I could get to that. And Alumilite doesn't really stick to itself very well if you're doing like multiple layer pours. The other problem is the top of a casting is so smooth that is by far the worst surface. If you're gonna try and pour Alumilite on top of itself, it's best to do it within 24 hours of the first pour, and it's best to scuff up the top with like some 80 grit sandpaper or something so it can have a little bit of a mechanical tooth to bite into. So not the most ideal thing. I did manage to get 4 fully green blanks out of that pour, even though it was kind of slanted. And then I got a couple that are half and half, and I decided to use purple on top. Couple things that made me actually try this out. There was pine cones sticking out of the green that was on the thin side, and so there was something for that second layer to grab onto, so that was kind of interesting. I don't know, you can definitely see the line, and in a couple of these areas where it's really thin, I can get my finger underneath there, so I'm a little worried about these things coming apart, so I'm going to be wearing a face mask when I turn these. But interesting. I ain't selling these specific ones, but I do like the purple and green mixture. That's pretty cool. So lots of that stuff. The other thing, and for the pine cone blanks, I'll be doing lots more colors down the road. The other big casting thing that I did this week was I got an order to match a Puerto Rican flag, the colors in it. So it's a blue and red, white, red, white, and blue, but the blue is a little bit different on this flag that Michelle wanted me to, color match basically. So I had to do a lot of pours to try and get to that specific blue, but I'm pretty happy because that's a color that was really, it was a weird blue. You don't see it very often, and now I have the recipe for that, so I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see what she turns with those. I gave her a couple options, slightly different shades, just to try and hopefully match that color exactly. And then the other thing that I came up with was, and I actually got this from Carl, this idea was the flag has a lot of blue on one side, it's kind of a triangular thing, and then red and white stripes. And so I wanted to try and get one where you kind of separated a section of just blue. So I gave her a couple of those. That was kind of a fun, it took a while to get that, but it was fun to work on that order. So pretty cool stuff. The other thing that I did this week was I'm trying to do a stamp pen blank. So I used Mod Podge and stuck some stamps onto this tube and then sealed it with Mod Podge as well. I'm not super certain how this is going to turn out, but I still need to cast it and see what results I get. And I'll be working on those a little bit more. I bought a ton of stamps on eBay, just random stamps, so pretty cool stuff. The other thing that I did this week was make my own little thin parting tool. I got this kind of design, or how to do this, from Capinetti, so I'll have a link to his video on how to do these. It's basically just an edger trimmer blade, and you just glue on a handle, basically, a couple pieces of wood or whatever. So simple. It only took me a few hours to do, and then I ground the thing down and got a sharp tip. Used it, it works pretty good. It's definitely a lot, it cuts a lot easier than the other parting tools. I have really thick parting tools. I don't have a good, thin parting tool that's actually like a commercially made one. So made my own, so thanks to Capinetti for that design. It's pretty simple and cheap, so cool stuff. So the other thing this week that I wanted to kind of talk about was a couple tips. So I got a tip from somebody, I can't remember exactly who, but I think it was in the PVC video, on using paste wax instead of stoner, or at least using paste wax as a release agent for your molds with Alumilite. So I gave it a try, and I got good results with this 2-inch PVC pipe, and I also did it in one of my melamine molds. Now, a little disclaimer about this, even the pipe that I used, it wasn't, I had been using stoner spray in them before, so I don't know if that had any effect on the results or not. I kind of doubt it, but I am going to be trying it. I have a fresh melamine mold, and I'll try and cut a piece of PVC pipe at some point, brand new. And actually, I'll be doing that today. I'm going to be making some stoppers for Carol today. So I'm going to give it a try without having anything on a fresh mold and see if it still gives me the same results. But bare minimum, in a pinch, if you run out of stoner, paste wax should work pretty good. Now, the one thing is I haven't tried it on 3/4 inch PVC pipe because they're so small that it's kind of hard to get a rag and your finger and everything in there. So maybe if I find a smaller way, an easier way to apply it, that might work. But for now, I'm just using stoner because it's easier. The one thing I will say about stoner as compared to wax is wiping wax on, excuse me, especially in the corners and all this stuff, is kind of a pain. It's a lot easier with a spray. But it's also kind of a lot cleaner because you don't have some kind of a silicone or whatever base stoner is, spraying around. I don't really particularly enjoy breathing that stuff. I usually put a fan on so it blows it away. And I don't want it in my shop area. I actually take it outside of my little area here and spray them out there. So, a couple of thoughts on that. Now, the other thing that I don't know if it's a tip yet, but I'm trying something new. Now, I have stated repeatedly that I don't particularly get good results or like having to reverse paint pen blanks or the tubes or whatever. When you're using a clear resin, a lot of times when you turn it down real thin, there's areas that are really transparent. You can see the tube, or you can see the kind of glue splotches from when you glued it in. I don't enjoy doing that. That's one of the reasons why I usually use Alumilite White a lot, and why I've just been getting into the clear stuff. But I decided on this blue and gold one to try using the same exact Pearl-Ex powder, mixing it in with the epoxy that I used to glue the tubes in, and seeing what results I get. So I'm hoping that between the fact that this is blue and gold, I've colored the glue blue, and then the tube's gold anyway, so I'm hoping that with these blue and gold blanks, you won't really have to do that, We'll see how this works out, I'm not sure. The other thing with reverse painting, the problem I've had is I've used this Model Master acryl from Testors, And the gloss black works great. The problem is if you reverse paint a tube and there's areas that are very transparent, it just black shines through. So if you had dead clear resin and you reverse painted that, you know, dead clear resin black on the inside, the resulting pen is going to look like black lacquer or something like that. I mean, it's just blacked out. And I don't love that. I think it's better to use a kind of at least the same color, the same shade of, you know, same color tone. If you got a blue blank that's transparent, you know, use some blue paint. But I haven't been able to find paint that actually works as good as this stuff. And I've used the same exact stuff with different colors from testers. So I do have a tip from somebody to try that I'm going to try out. It's the Delta Ceramcore acrylic paint that you can get, I guess, at most of the hobby stores. They're the little paint pot things. You can get kits of them. I'm going to try that out and see if I can get it to paint nicely inside the tubes and be able to cure quick. That's my other issue, is I'm impatient with this stuff and I kind of forget to paint the tubes and got to kind of hurry. So anything that I can do that's quicker helps me out a lot more. So hope that kind of helps. I guess that's about it. So if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them below. You can get a hold of me at zach@nvwoodwerks.com, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter. You can follow me there and see what I'm kind of doing on a daily basis. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, I'm sorry about not getting the video out last week, but with sales kind of orders ramping up, I guess it seems to be getting busier. I may have some issues getting videos out, you know, that are more project videos every week. So just to be kind of forewarned about that. I'm going to try and start doing some kind of shorter, quick tip videos so I can make sure that I try and get a video out every week. But other than that, there's only so many hours in the day. So I do appreciate your patience, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.